Hell yeah. Almost in tune, right?
Almost, yeah.
Almost, yeah. Listen, it's a hot day. These are thin gauge strings.
No,
We're testing the waters now. We're in drop B.
Hell yeah.
I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Chase Wilson, my dude, my dog.
My guy.
Run into you here at Aftershock. Ov Sulfur's not playing. You're just cruising, checking out bands. I'm like, we got to get
Just
Chase
chilling.
on the show.
Hell yeah. Thanks, man. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you for coming down. Welcome to Defender of the Riff.
Hell yeah.
This is my Knotfest show where I get to break all the rules of a normal interview and mainly just talk about guitars, which, you know, is awesome for us.
Yeah, most definitely.
And really what we truly want to talk about. I know there's nothing more uncomfortable than doing a bunch of press about a bunch of questions you don't want to answer, so I figured we'll keep it light and talk about something I know that we both thoroughly love.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, there's nothing more I love to talk about, so.
Hell yeah. So then let's do it. I want to get to know you as a player, you know, where you come from. Who were those original, you know, six-string guitar gods that you idolized? What are the first sounds that really catch your ear? Give me the villain origin story.
The villain origin story, really, the first band I fell in love with that was, you know, even close to heavy metal was Linkin Park. That was my thing, you know, and, you know, Linkin Park led into Disturbed led into Pantera, which is now become my favorite band of all time, and, you know. Fucking love it.
Shit sounds really good, down tuned.
Dude, it really does. It sounds way heavier. I'm about to do a cover.
That's awesome.
You know, and from there, I mean, I just, you know, got into other stuff, like, in the subgenres like metalcore, deathcore, you know, slammy death metal, you know, all of that stuff. So it's really broadened my horizons.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And were you kind of, you know, you say Linkin Park, obviously that seems like some self-discovery kind of shit you would figure out on your own, going to school from your peers, whatnot. Were there any musical influences around the house? Were your parents spinning records?
Oh, man. Yeah.
Man, sound a little more excited about the family influence.
I mean, one of my dad's favorite bands was Winger.
Oh.
And so...
What, you don't like Winger?
Yeah, you know, like, it never really stuck. The one that stuck were, like, Stone Temple Pilots, you know, Nirvana. Then the big one for him was Van Halen. So how can you not, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we're literally playing EVH amps.
I was gonna
let's
say,
be real, yeah.
Innovator, legend,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. But, you know, what I really got into, like, learning was always, like, the heavier stuff. You know, it just interested me more. The chugs, everything about it seemed more like primal, you know?
Absolutely. So is that listening, being a fan, and getting into heavier sounds, is that what drives you?
Yeah.
To pick up a guitar? Is there a defining moment where you like see a show or something where you're like, I want to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I got to see Linkin Park twice.
Wow,
once
cool.
on the Hybrid Theory tour and once on the Meteora tour when I was like 10.
Oh,
yeah.
all right, prime era.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So like that was when I first was like, man, that would be really cool to do, you know? And what really set it off though was my first like band that I actually like learned riffs from was Trivium. Like that was my first band where I was like,
I wonder if I know any Trivium songs.
hell yeah, mine is
Pull harder. Yeah, something like that.
love it. Something along those
Dude, that
lines.
early Trivium
I've been
stuff
drinking
was-
a little bit, so it's like not there.
That early Trivium stuff was like game changer for a lot of guys our age, man.
It really was, and it honestly, I still to this day say that Ascendancy is the best metal record I've ever heard in my entire life,
Wow.
front to back. So
I worship that record too. I get that, man.
I do. Yeah.
Is not only like on a obviously production, it like just sounded fucking so good.
Yeah.
But the songs, it kind of took everything that was really easy to get into about the traditional metal, Metallica, etc. that I was already listening to. Mm-hmm. Plus, it kind of like dips into the heavier. It was screaming and that type of like the melodic, like even in that song, like that fucking octave on the higher note on that intro riff.
Oh yeah, that it's a. Yeah, something along those lines.
It kind of like it took from all the different corners of music that I was listening to and really presented it in a heavy, technical way that I hadn't heard yet. That record's huge for me, man.
It's huge for me as well.
Yeah, fucking A.
It made me who I am today.
Awesome.
Yeah, that and I guess like the big three for me would probably be like them, Killswitch, and SLIPKNOT, honestly.
Fuck yeah.
Like all three of those bands kind of shaped me into the guitar player I am today.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you pick up your guitar. I'm assuming the first thing you do is learn a bunch of those cover songs, like just learning the riffs of the bands you liked, right?
Yeah. So I like the first few songs I learned were like Light to Flies, My Curse, Bid Farewell, like Through Struggle, like so those were some of like the first songs. I was in middle school playing my guitar, learning by myself, and what we had was like Ultimate Guitar, right?
Yeah,
like,
of course, yeah, classic.
And so I'd sit in front of my computer and see if I could like replicate those songs to the best of my ability.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, tell me about taking, yourself from the computer chair, playing along to guitar tabs, to jamming with other people and eventually, doing a band setting.
Yeah, totally. I mean, in high school, it was hard for me, but I made friends like who also liked similar music to me, and it was kind of just like we gelled and we would jam in the garage, and the garage is where it started. Eventually, we had enough songs to like where we could put on a show, and so we would play like churches, or we would play like the little like friends' houses and stuff like that, and it kind of grew from there, you know. But the hard part was getting that, like you said, out of the chair and onto the stage, right? So nobody's perfect, and it was a challenge, but you kind of get your groove after a while, you know?
Of course.
Yeah.
Were you starting bands on your own, or were you trying to join other bands? What was your trajectory through that part of your life?
So my thing was the starting bands on my own, and
cool.
I've kind of always did that,
nice.
No matter what. I think I've only ever joined one other band, and it was a band like a slammy, not slammy, I guess, a beatdown band called Collisions.
Cool.
Yeah, and so I started in high school just starting my own bands and jamming with my brothers, because one of my brothers plays drums and then the other played bass, and
You've got a family band right there.
That was the.
How'd you fuck that up?
I think that was the plan. Well, yeah, shit happens, and then brothers are like, "Fuck you, you're too mean."
Dude, I mean, come on. We're talking about Van Halen brothers. We got the Abbott brothers. We got,
100%.
And Max and Igor, brother. There's chemistry that can't be ignored there.
I will say, we did bring my brother on tour one time with Ov Sulfur where we needed a fill-in, so that was kind of cool.
For drums or bass?
Drums.
Nice.
Yeah, drums. He's a sick drummer.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So starting the family band didn't work out for
No.
you, but you did get some fill in there, and also some jamming together at times.
Totally, yeah, and like the family band, I was like, all right, my brother's a drummer and I'm a guitar player. I see you're a guitar player. I need a guitar player, and just started talking to people. Or I need a bass player. I need this, or I need that. And it kind of grew from there. And once you establish yourself in your own scene, it kind of just becomes easier and easier over time.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. The more people you know, or that you become known, and of course everything becomes easier.
Yeah.
You got to cut your teeth to get to that point, though.
100%.
So tell me a little bit about, you talk about bands you're worshiping. I'm wondering if you were ever into straight up players. Like, were there guitar players on your walls when you were growing up, or was it always band thing? Yeah. So who were your guys? Who were the dudes you idolized the most and wanted to play like?
I mean, like I said, number one in my eyes has always been Dimebag Darrell.
Fuck yeah.
And from there, he led me into players like Zakk Wylde, and then Zakk has the. just pinch harmonics throughout the whole thing, which
Yeah.
really got me into pinching and squealing and stuff like that.
Hell yeah. You got to do some of this on stage,
Oh,
brother.
yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
All the time. All the time I'm always like, yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
We already wear like, denim vests and black jeans, so we already kind of like have the black label look.
You're halfway there to BLS, exactly.
But yeah, it's so them, Zachy Vengeance and Sinister Gates.
They played last night here. Venge played the other night. It was awesome.
Yeah, man. I mean, that was like some of my first, like, who doesn't know? Fuck that one. Yeah.
It's another band you want to talk
Yeah.
about blending, mainstream influences with a heavier sound, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to deny those kind of drop riffs like that. That's a pretty fucking iconic riff.
I mean, yeah, it was always the drop riff for me, really. Like, once it was like you tune that bottom string down, it was all game over. I didn't want to play anything else standard. I didn't want to do anything like normal. I just wanted to play drop riffs.
Damn, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I was going to ask about that next because I find that that's like a fork in the road a lot of players go.
Yeah.
You either go the dime route and you kind of stick with standard format of tuning and
Yeah.
different pitches, or you go like full on Lamb of God worship and end up with the drop tunings.
You do.
So
yeah.
you took that dark path towards drop and never looked
I
back.
did, and I never looked back. I mean, and then like it was one of those things where it's like, who else has drop tuning that I can play? And like Deftones and like Korn.
Yeah.
And well, no, Korn plays A standard, I guess. But the lower tunings and stuff like that was just something I was really interested in. And then it got me into bands like the Acacia Strain and Emure, like just Chug Lords, which I fucking love.
Chonky chug life.
Yeah, dude, and they're like kings of that riff, like, you know what I mean? So
if you've got guitars at home that aren't touring guitars, just like personal guitars at home, what tuning do those sit in?
oh man, normally they don't sit in anything above A. Drop A.
That's awesome.
I mean, I just love the sound. It's melodic enough to where you can still get like crazy nice melodies on the high end, but powerful enough to just, rip and like somebody have that stank face,
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And with lower tunings, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
With lower tunings comes a larger string gauge.
It does.
Yeah, what strings you rocking?
I just talked about this actually. Eyal, who runs Riff Hard, posted something about it, and he was like, heavy strings, heavy pick, what do you use? And I posted, man, I use like a 74 and a 2.0.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, so...
I know you grabbed one of my picks, you're like, oh, this is nice. I'm like, yeah, that's the thickest one I've got.
Yeah. So I've just always played like that. I don't know why. It's like more comfortable for me, but it's just, I don't know. I think I read somewhere that like Zach used heavy picks too, and I think he uses like, I was corrected because he doesn't use a 2.0, he uses a 1.14 or something.
Yeah, that's what these are, the purple ones. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just moved up and up and up to say, I was like, I want the thickest pick I can have, And I don't know if it's because it's easier on the attack of the strings, that I don't have to dig in as hard, or if it just feels right, you know what I mean?
That's fucking awesome. I'm all about the 1.14. I struggle. I feel like I should use a lighter pick.
Yeah.
Just because of the way I play and what I'm doing, but I always end up going back to that gauge. That's why if you see, there's some 88 sitting on the table, but it's not what I'm using.
Yeah, I mean, like, you just can't deny that.
No, for real.
It just feels right and it sounds right.
No, you got to have the chonk. You got to have the thick pick, the attack, right?
100%.
What do you rock gear-wise? Run me through guitar, pedal, amps. What are you rocking?
Totally, yeah. So I actually am endorsed by Balaguer guitars.
Cool.
They're awesome. I love it. I have
some like boutique shit I don't even know about.
Yeah.
All right.
They do like semi-custom guitars. It's kind of like you can go through, pick your body type, pick your strings, like number of strings, pickups, where you want the placement, stuff like that.
What's the brand called?
Balaguer.
Balaguer?
Balaguer.
Cool.
Yeah, and they're awesome. They put me on their page and everything like
Nice.
that. But they do like almost like vintage style bodies. So I had to get the JM style body with the 7 strings. And I rock Fishman pickups.
The Fluence?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Shout
that.
out Ken Susie.
You're playing a Fluence right now. Ken will be very pleased.
I love it, man. Like, honestly, I was a huge EMG fan before before Fluence even existed.
Of
right?
course, yeah.
And the minute I actually bought a Steph Carpenter LTD, and
nice.
It had the moderns in it, and I was like, oh my God, what have I been doing? You know what I mean?
Dude, that's exactly what happened to me. I've been playing EMGs my entire life because, of course, that was the pickup.
It was the pickup.
And out of nowhere, I got an ESP. They did a Millie Petroza, shout out creator. They did a Millie Petroza signature, and it had the Fluence in it, the Fluence Modern.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit.
Dude.
This is the craziest sounding pickup I've ever heard. The different voicings, it's unbelievable how it's very articulate, and the note clarity, it's unreal, man.
Yeah.
It just rings in a certain way that other pickups don't.
Absolutely, yeah. And like the thing that got me was the bite that the pickup had, but the clarity you get out of it.
Right.
No screeching, no excess noise. It was it was perfect.
What voicing do you use on it?
So I have one. Normally, I'm so easy. Like, I don't really do a whole lot.
Do you want a cheeseburger? It looks like they got some cheeseburgers over there.
Oh.
Do you want a cheeseburger? A little slider action?
Why not?
Come on,
Yeah, sure.
there we go.
I'll take one.
There you go. Get a slider. No, I'll have one with you. I think it'll just really enhance things.
Love that.
Sweet, thank you so much.
Thank you, appreciate it. Wow.
Yeah, now we can have some dinner while we do this.
Dinner and an interview. Wow.
Yeah. What voicing are you using on that Fluence?
I'm so easy. I just use the one voicing, so I'm very, very basic, really. Just if you have the coil split, it's just the one that stays down. I never really use it. That passive one.
Yeah.
It sounds great, and if you're using it for certain styles of music, like I know for like gent or like for stuff like that, some rounded out sound, passive sound is like really cool. But I like bite, and I like stuff that has a really like crunchy, like brutal like tone.
See, I only bring it up because I'm the same way. I use the one voicing for everything I do.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't it nice to know that your pickup can also do that?
It is, because I have the Tosins like in another one.
There you go, and that's an insane set. That's a really good signature set.
It really is,
Dude,
man.
these burgers were a great call. These are delicious.
No, these are
Shout out to
fantastic.
the catering at Aftershock. These are delicious. We even got napkins. Look at this.
Shit.
Look at
Thank
this
you so
service
much.
right
Appreciate
here. Yeah, this is a great idea. It's nice to know, like, whether or not you use it. It's nice to know that you have it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna put that down for a second.
Yeah, these were a great idea.
No, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, they're such versatile pickups, and I feel like
What is that? A horseradish aioli on there?
I feel like it is. Yeah. I'm trying to figure it out too. I was like, onion?
Oh, please. I said we're talking about the real shit here. Is that burgers and guitars?
Yeah, 100%.
So you got your semi-custom guitar, which is that would you consider that your signature model? I guess because you're endorsed, they built it for you.
I wouldn't say it's a signature model.
Right.
It is my own specific model for me.
It's built to your specs.
Yeah.
There you go. It's custom shop. There
Totally.
you go. So it's custom shop.
Yeah.
Fishman's in it. What are you using? Like a big pedal board, small pedal board? Do you use a real amp? Do you use a modeler? What do you use?
I use the modeler.
What do you use? Quad Cortex?
No, actually, I use the HX Stomp.
Oh, use the Stomp. Dude,
Bro.
That is, for a fraction of the price,
Dude.
an incredible system.
It's so nice, and honestly, I dig some of the tones there better than some of the other modelers out there.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. I've got it dialed in, and the thing that I saw was, a lot of people on tour using the Stomp.
Yeah, the Stomp's great.
Yeah.
I picked one up for home. I was doing some Twitch streaming.
Oh,
and I
dude.
needed something, a good digital interface and something with a versatility, and someone recommended the Stomp to me as a game changer.
Absolutely. And we have our, patch changes through the laptop and everything like that.
Nice.
So it just stays in a drawer and I don't
The
have to do
show's
anything.
all on MIDI and everything. It's all very organized.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
So realistically, I guess there's no other pedals then. It's all programmed in patches.
Yep.
And you just run it through a cab or something, like through a power section of an amp and
Front of house.
Oh, so you wear ears on stage?
Absolutely.
God, you're so fucking pro.
This is actually my first band trying it. So like I'm by no means a pro, but I'll never go back after using it.
Well, I mean, once you've experienced identical tone and identical mix every night, stage sound, it's hard to go back.
It really is.
It is. Tell me about, the band. I know Burden of Faith has been out for some time now.
Yeah.
People are really stoked on it. What's going on in that camp? And give me some juice, man. Give me something good. Give me something good here. I brought burgers to set for you.
You did bring burgers for me. How can I deny that?
Yeah, give me something good. Almost as good as the grilled onions and horseradish aioli on that.
Okay, so does grilled onions. I was like, I definitely taste grilled onions.
That's delicious.
Yeah, man. I mean, Burden of Faith has been out since March. I'm really stoked on that release. I've never been more proud to release music, so I'm stoked that, so many people like it. We are currently writing for another album.
Nice.
You may or may not get some stuff before that.
Right on.
We're actually playing a show with Bleeding Through for their anniversary of This Is Love, This Is Murderous at Anaheim House of Blues.
Yeah.
That should be cool. And then we have something planned for February that should be coming soon.
That's not too far away. That's right around the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be... I'm very proud. I wish I could say, but I can't say right now. Unfortunately.
Hey man, you've already given us enough of an exclusive peek.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I want to touch on something else about Ov Sulfur. Up until maybe I sat and watched an Ov Sulfur music video, I thought the most blasphemous thing I had ever seen on band merch was "Jesus is a cunt," the legendary, the most banned T-shirt of all time. And I thought that was pretty much like, how do you get more blasphemous than that? Well, Ov Sulfur really tried to one-up everyone. Tell me about the anti-religion imagery. Tell me about that side of the band, and give me some insight into how that fits into the whole creative picture.
I mean, yeah. So pretty much, Ricky and I, we love studying like religion. We love studying on how it's affected the world, and kind of digging deeper into how we as like musicians with a platform can kind of like let other people know about it. It's something that has been with me since I was very young. I didn't grow up in a religious household, I'd say, but I grew up like with the pressure of having that religiousness and having that like you need to do this, otherwise you're gonna go to hell, and you're gonna burn in hellfire and stuff like that. And it's like, that's not right to be teaching like your kids. And like we can teach other things, like if you believe in a higher power, that's very cool. I appreciate that, and I can understand that, and I see the benefit to it. However, to push it on to other people like the Catholic Church does, or like some of these other religions might, is detrimental to like our youth, and not thinking for themselves, and I feel like they want this hive mind of this is what is right and this is what you need to do, and don't think for yourself, and don't, we get into this like prison of religion. Whereas like if you study it and you understand it and everything, it's a lot easier to take in,
Right. To make read about it on your own, do your own research, and make your own. Come to your own conclusions, I suppose, not to feel like something was pushed upon you.
Absolutely. And as we know, Ricky's probably the most blasphemous dude
in the
band.
You just made a really elegant speech out of religion, which is something that your band has literally taken, courtesy of Ricky, and fucking just like shit all over. Yeah, it's a very polite way of saying, we like to shit all over religion in Ov Sulfur.
Totally.
Fucking awesome. Dude, Chase, it's been rad hanging and talking guitars and shit, eating burgers with you.
Yeah.
Take us out with a sick ass. What are we? We're in drop B now.
Drop B?
Drop B. Give me a sick ass Ov Sulfur riff in drop B, baby.
Shit.
That is fucking badass.
Hell yeah.
Chase, thank you for joining us on Defender of the Riff.
Thank you for having me.
Can't wait to see you soon and looking forward to February.
Most definitely.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Music's everywhere, it's everything, and it's like the greatest gift you'll ever give yourself. If you teach yourself guitar, you take lily, whatever you do, any instrument you get into, because it's something you're going to have forever. You know what I mean? It's like you might be into this, you might be wherever you are right now in your life, but you won't be there in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and it seems like it's fiction, right? Like I used to hear that shit when I was, oh, you learn whatever. I'm like, yeah, maybe one day when I'm 40, I'll get into jazz. Well, I'll be 50 here in not that much time, so... You know, and I still haven't got into jazz because I got more headbanging to do. But
yeah, I haven't seen you start your jazz side project yet.
No, I haven't even started practicing. No, I got a long way. It's, I don't know.
I started as a drummer. And so it all started for me with my dad showing me the Black Album, like right when it first, so I was like 2, you know, and I remember hearing the Black Album for the first time. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever, and it changed my life forever from there. I started to go, as I got a little bit older, I stole the Black Album from my dad and started going backwards through the Metallica discography. And I had started playing drums in like the orchestral band at school, so I just gravitated towards asking for a drum set. And then Lars was my guy. He was my North Star forever. And I know that people shit on Lars all day long, but I'll stab you. Don't say anything about my guy. And then at some point, I started realizing that, like, while drums are really cool and I enjoy playing them, like, I can't really write a song unless I can play guitar.
We've always loved the big heavy riffs. So I guess when 311 started, it was like we would have a heavy riff, but then there would be like rapping over it.
Yeah.
You know, so combining those two styles, that was a pretty new thing at the time. You know, there was hybrid music, we called it. So it was. That's kind of where it started.
You yourself, like you never really aspired to be like have a James Hetfield voice. Did you never wanted to like growl like 80s style like that? You were into either like rapping or melodic singing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've more of a baritone range. I loved Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
I love crooners like Frank Sinatra.
Well, I think by the time I was growing up, I was a kid of the late 70s, early 80s. We didn't have the internet, we didn't have TikTok or YouTube, but by that time everybody had a TV, obviously.
Yeah.
Most people had cable TV. Pop culture was everywhere, so you could not help but be affected by pop culture. And just from songs I would hear in pop culture, I started getting interested in music.
Back when music was ubiquitous, just constantly everywhere, all around you, and
so like television shows and movies.
Right.
Like this sound right here. This is one of the first things I remember that got me excited about music. The spy chord.
Yeah.
Or the this type of riff, like.
Legendary.
The first band I ever really got into was just Nirvana and shit. Like, Nirvana is just one of the best alternative bands ever and shit. I mean, yeah, it's
the riff that changed all of our lives.
Yeah, it's literally,
let's be real.
Literally, yeah. Essentially. What about you, Crowd?
I got into guitar through Metallica. I saw them in 2016, and something about... That kind of strikes you.
Yeah, you like that low tuning Metallica. Yeah, that D shit.
If an international band comes to your city, like you go and see them, like, and I feel like, I guess it's still like that now. I feel like, but now that we're a lot older, it's you see it from like the other side of like where the band coming to their city, and they, we get to meet fans now that go like, I've waited so long for you to come to my city, and just so happy you're here. And that was just us when we were 15, 16 years old, going to see bands.
And it feels really cool now because we're in the position to bring our favorite international bands to our home and showcase them to our peers, our family, our friends. Like, we were seeing these bands when we were that age. So it feels cool to bring people out to Australia.
Very full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, not to self-plug here on a Knotfest show, but you guys did play the first ever Knotfest Australia.
Where's Parkway Drive? Where is Parkway Drive?
I swear, if we ask a single question and the answer is not Parkway Drive, something is very wrong, okay?
Yeah.
This is like your OG Death album guitar, right?
Yeah, this is my Death Album 1 guitar. I've like switched the pickups a little bit, but these are just like PAF classic, Gibson pickups, and I put a black pickguard on, and I refretted it, and that's it,
That's rad.
And it's like a big plank of wood, and that's it, yeah.
It's
and
awesome.
It's just like, it's Squiscar's guitar,
Yeah, it's so sick.
Yeah, and if you'll notice, my fingers are the exact same like shape as Squiscar's. My big, huge finger, this one looks like a frog's finger. If you watch the cartoon, they modeled it after my hand, so when you see me play, it looks exactly like Squiscar's.
That's so cool, man. Who is it that kind of, gets you your first guitar, or what is it that inspires you to get your first instrument?
I'm gonna have to say, it starts with Kiss, but then I listen to, the early to mid 80s, like everybody, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Ozzy, Rat, Motley Crue, all that stuff. Jackson back in the day is what I liked, so I got my first good guitar was a Charvel Model 4. So then it went from there, and that's what started it all off. Just because that's what people were playing in the '80s, it seemed like.
Yeah, the Shredders, yeah.
Kirk Hammett and Randy Rhoads, for example.